Morning, or good afternoon, or maybe good evening, depending where you are in the world. Hello, the world, shall we say? Welcome to another hot and spicy chat with Cristina Davy and Olga Gaetan on dating and relationships. And today we have another exciting topic, which I am sure many of you will be wondering about and thinking, oh, I can totally relate to that. So, Cristina, would you like to announce that?
Yes, we talked about what can we talk next, and then we realized we've never really talked about jealousy. So let's talk about jealousy jitters. Is it a healthy concern or a red flag? Is it okay to be jealous or is not okay to be jealous? And what's causing jealousy and how can we handle it as well? So what would you go with, Elga? What would you start with?
I actually would like to start with addressing the elephant in the room. What is jealousy? Right? What actually is
Mm-hmm.
jealousy? Because some people think that being controlling is jealousy, that being, restrictive what you can do, what you cannot do is jealousy, that making you forget your friends, forget your activities is jealousy, and it's not. It is control. Jealousy, I think, is
Mm.
in my opinion, is when you're thinking, I really wouldn't like my partner to be with somebody else, right? It's something where you do have concerns, you do have worries. But again, if you are confident within yourself, if you know who you are and you know it's not your loss, but their loss, there's not really jealousy. There's not really controlling issues coming out because it's that if they will go away with somebody, that's their loss, right? So I think it's a fine balance between feeling worried. I wouldn't want to lose my partner. I wouldn't want them to do something. I wouldn't want to,
Mm.
find out something is happening, and controlling them. Because when you
Yeah.
control them, it's not jealousy. And I think it's important to address that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think sometimes there's a fine line between feeling insignificant and jealousy as well. Like we can be jealous because we feel insignificant, right? Um, if I feel like I'm not important and I don't matter and I don't feel valued, and then I see you giving that to someone else, and this is not just in a dating when we date someone or in a relationship with a partner, but also like what with siblings. It's so common with siblings, right? um, and friends as well, right? So if I feel like you're treating someone else better than me, but usually it's because when we look at better, it's because we actually already feel insignificant. So it's not like we feel insignificant, and that's what's causing the jealousy. Because if we had our cup full with attention from this person, then we wouldn't feel like we have to really go there and be like, hey, why are you giving so much time to that person? It's the lack in ourselves and the relationship with the other person that's actually getting us to feel that jealousy, and feel like, oh, hold on a second, I'm feeling ignored in here, right? I'm feeling like you are giving this person a little bit more than me. Because if I had lots of it, then I'll be like, yeah, my cup is full, I'm all good, and he's just talking to this person or talking to that person. But if my cup is empty
Mhm.
and you dead and you give to someone else, even a tiny little bit more, whew, right? Build up already, stuck up, like resentment and upset and everything else that we feel and hurt sometimes as well, right? Especially when you feel that person's energy. Have you had that? Sometimes
Yeah.
there's no apparent, they're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing. You can't put you can't point it. You did that and you did that. You can't because they haven't done anything wrong, but they're so
Mhm.
absorbed into the conversation, and you feel insignificant. You feel like, hello. So that's when you start, and then to the other person's like, what, I haven't done anything wrong, like what's going on here? And you're like, but I just know. But you can't really put it in words, because what are you going to say? You're just talking to this person for way too long, more than
Yes.
me. It sounds really silly, isn't? And I had experienced that myself, I remember with my
Mm.
ex-husband a lot, and I learned how to navigate that. So it
Yeah.
actually, you know, if we know how to address it, right, we can actually
Mm.
shrink this so quick. It doesn't need to get to be an issue, but sometimes we just don't really know how to. Isn't We don't know how to manage how to address a situation like that. So I think that's the biggest problem. We don't say anything out of it, and then we just build up, and then blah, we just take all the yuckiness outside.
It's so true. It's so
So
true.
I've
Yeah.
been
It's so true, Christina, because our inner
I've been on both
insecurities.
sides. I've been jealous, and I've been yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. So sorry.
Sorry. You were saying you were on both sides. So tell me about the side when somebody was actually jealous towards you. How did that feel?
Oh, definitely controlling, and I felt attacked. I felt attacked. I was like, "What do you
Yes.
mean?" Because the fidelity, like I consider myself a loyal person. My idea
Hmm.
myself, I was like, what? Like, huh? It was like a shocking news, like breaking
Yeah.
news to me. I'm like, what do you mean? I couldn't even comprehend because
Mm.
again, I knew myself, right? But to them, the fact that I was giving that energy and that attention to that other person
Hmm.
meant something because obviously based on what they were experiencing in the relationship with me. Have you
Yeah,
been on in both
I
sides,
hear
or
you.
which one? Which side? Which side have you been on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in other words, jealousy is a negative energy because if you, when you are in on the other side and you feel the other person is jealous towards you, if there'll be a positive energy, you wouldn't feel attacked. You wouldn't feel something is wrong. You wouldn't feel like, oh, why are you doing that? You would feel, oh, actually, it's nice, right? So, in other words, I think we are answering our own question here. What is jealousy? Jealousy is a negative energy. It's almost like admitting to
Mm.
yourself, I have lack of something. I have now lack of your attention. I have now lack of your priority. I have now lack of something. It's almost like when your friends are going on holidays and you're sitting there and you're saying, oh, I'm so jealous because I feel lack that you are not on that holidays. But it doesn't mean you cannot have it. It doesn't mean you cannot do it. You can.
Mm.
Right? But it's the inner insecurity that is firing up that negative emotion, is telling you, well, maybe you can never have that. Well, maybe you're not deserving that. Maybe you're not worthy of that. Right? So, in other words, I think we are answering our own question.
Mm.
Jealousy is a negative feeling. I must say, in my life, I have never really been a jealous person. However, after my ex husband's cheating, I developed a lack of trust. And that was not even the jealousy, that was,
Mm.
it became even to the point of control. It became to the point of, well, I'm not even sure if you are there. How do I know you're there? Prove it to me. Right. So that's what I mean.
Mm.
It can sometimes seem like jealousy, but from my side, it was definitely trying to ensure I am safe. I'm not going to be hurt. I want to ensure he's not doing what he was doing before and all that.
Exactly.
Right. Was it really jealous? I can't recall that. I honestly I can't recall me being jealous.
Mm.
Maybe because, and that will sound probably very arrogant, maybe because I always knew it's going to be their loss, not mine. I said it. But I always had this. I know some people will think it's very arrogant. I admit it. I know. But somehow I always had this feeling whatever happens, it will be never my loss, it'll be their loss. And I always knew
Mm.
because through my entire life, it was never an issue for me to find a man. It was never. I know some women they struggle finding a man, and some women they can be on dating apps forever, or they can go out like every single night, not meet anybody. For me, it was always like that. And maybe
Mm.
that's why I never had this feeling of like, oh, I'm jealous. It was always like, oh, I like that a woman pay attention to my man. That was like, of course, you can look at him, but he's mine. It was almost like, I know, it sounds really arrogant, sounds really, really bad, right? But
Not at
and I
all.
wonder,
Not at all. It
and I
sounds
wonder
confident.
actually, but actually, I'm wondering, is it even healthy? Maybe I'm arrogant bitch. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. You tell me.
no, not at all.
But
But I, you know, you know what? When you're saying that it's a negative emotion, what came to mind actually? There's a time when emotions is an emotion. It's a signal. It's communicating
Mm-hmm.
something to us. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Something about this right
Mm-hmm.
here. I don't like. Right.
Yep.
So how we relate to it, what we're doing after we feel that emotion
Mm.
that's that can turn into a negative. Having the emotion of being angry, sad or lonely or jealous, right, or insignificant or lack of trust. It's like it's really a signal. It's our mind. This is not okay. Let's just look in here, and I'm looking at it, and I might see something, or might not see something.
Yeah.
But how I'm relating to that, it can really make it really
Yes.
bad or really like, okay, you raise something. Maybe if I feel jealous, I'm going to communicate my standards,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I remember the situation, his vulnerable moment here when I met Matt, and I don't know, he was showing me something on Instagram, and he had all these ladies. We was right at the beginning of our relationship, and he had all these ladies on, and I was like, huh. I'm like, why do you have these ladies on? And because for me, right, talking about red flags, I'm not a big fan of red flags, but talking about red flags, my ex-husband was, I got cheated multiple times, right, in my relationship because he was using escorts and stuff. So when I saw these ladies, it was like I was relating to what I experienced, right? I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. So
Yes.
so it brought that up, and now I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna get more clarity, which I recommend, right, guys? If you're there and you feel jealous or you feel lack of trust or it's insignificant, bring it out on
Yeah.
the spot, not 3 days, because otherwise you sit with it. The more you
Absolutely.
sit with it, you're gonna build the story. So bring it on the spot. So I brought it on the spot. Well, hey, what's going on here? And he was like, oh, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what this person is. He went, and I'm like, well, she's on your profile, so you better know.
Oh, bless.
And then now I'm like, hmm, And then he felt a bit controlled, and I'm like, well,
Mm.
for me, it's for me, I said, if I'm not going to tell you what, but here's the thing. In my case, right, if you need to look at these ladies on social media, on
Yeah.
Instagram, it's communicating. So for me, it means that, well, something it's not really enough for
Mm.
us. And I'm trying to understand
Mm.
what it really means to you, because if they're not important to you, is it okay maybe to just let go of them? And if it's not, you can keep them. But for me, as a standard, I'm not going to accept that I'm developing a healthy relationship. And I don't see the point of having, good looking guys and looking at them, shirt off. And for him was like, okay, so because he understood, he said, listen, in my marriage was never a
Yeah.
problem. So different, we just had different standards, right? And he said, I never looked at
Yes.
it as a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, for me, it is not okay. So, I'm going to let you do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what you do. But, I'm just telling you, I'm not going to accept it. And he chose to remove them, and we're still together. so, so how
Which
do
is
we relate?
wonderful.
Yeah, how do we relate to it? What it means to us. I think it's really good to have that communication and stay curious about it to find out what's really going on. Because when you ask someone a question, they're gonna realize, oh, well, maybe I was very absorbed into, you know, into the communication, and I completely ignore my partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I can learn something from that. I don't know. What do you think of this?
You're spot on, Christina. You're absolutely spot on. And again, you highlighted one of the most important things about relationships, communication. right? And I always say, if you can't trust your partner with your insecurities, with your fears, with your thoughts, why are you with your partner? Like, are you
Mm.
with them if you can't open up? Your partner is not your therapist. But if you can't open up to your partner, they don't know what you go through. So you just demonstrated absolutely beautiful way of how dealing with concerns and issues that you have, right? It's about,
Mm.
babe, you know what? I'm not comfortable with that. Honey, I really don't like what you're doing. It makes me sad. It's communicating what it feels to you rather blaming them. It's so easy to go into, oh, you must be cheating because you follow these girls, or you must be cheating because you have all these guys. Like, I know on my social media, lots of tons of guys sometimes comment some stupid crap. I'll be honest with you. They say some, oh my goodness, like you do these, yeah, like you look these. It's like, well, how about commenting on my content? I just shared something really valuable. How about commenting on that rather than how I look? Okay. Am I bothered about them? No, right? I don't even care what they say, right? Because when it comes
Mm.
about personal compliments, like, yeah, thank you very much, but hello, it's a bit too much, okay? Or some guys would say something like, oh, I wish you were my girlfriend. Well, keep wishing, okay? Put me on your vision board, okay? You're not gonna get me, all right? So it doesn't bother me at all. And if that would bother my guy, I'll be like, well, really, like you really are bothered about this, but I think there's a limit. If it really bothers you, I think you should speak up about that. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Whatever bothers you, it could be this, it could be something big, it could be something small. But if you don't speak up in your relationship, don't be in that relationship. That's my very simple rule. Okay. If I can't trust you with my emotions and my feelings, then why would I be with you? I don't need relationship for the sake of it. I need relationship where I feel safe to open up and talk about how I feel. And if I don't feel safe with you, if you don't feel safe to open up with me, then we are in the wrong relationship. And let's discuss that. Do we even need to continue that? But in other words, going back to red flags, if jealousy is a red flag, I think excessive control is a red flag. I think you feeling
Mm.
jealous because you feel insecure, it definitely is a sign for you to work on something, because I believe our partner's insecurities as well as our own can drastically impact our relationships, and if we don't work on them, it becomes a long-term problem. So talking about red flag, we definitely should work on them. It definitely should not
Mm.
impact our relationship. But feeling a little bit like, oh, I don't like it, or like, yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm okay. Those girls rubbing themselves about around my guy, or though my guy staring at girls like he's hungry. I think there's a concern with your partner, right? So let's just also watch and observe how they do react. What do they do? Because again, in my case, for
Mm.
example, anywhere I go, literally anywhere I go, it could be an event, it could be networking event, it could be highly professional event. Seriously, if my guy would be always with me there, which it's not possible, of course, but if my guy would be always there, it will be a nightmare, right? Because amount of
Mm.
guys who constantly want to talk to me, they want to stand next to me. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. But is it my fault? It's not my fault. Am I dressing up in a way that I want to attract them? No, I'm still professional. Like, look at me today. I could be all totally undressed, but I'm cold because I'm in the UK. So I'm covered, right? But the truth is, I could be completely covered and guys still would want to talk to me. So if somebody who will be with me, they'll be deeply insecure about themselves. They'll be like, oh my goodness, guys are always talking to Olga. But what Olga is doing about that? She's strictly professional and she knows how to put them down. She knows how to completely cut it off. I had to practice it and I have to had to learn how to cut
Mm.
it off, right? So I
Yeah.
think as much as sometimes we can look at our partners and feel like, ooh, I'm not sure what happens that is making me comfortable, we have to also look at their reaction. What are they doing about somebody approaching them, somebody talking to them, somebody even flirting with them? Because people will take their chances. People will. But whether your
Mm.
partner is responding and getting involved in that, which is huge red flag, it's a huge red flag, or not, which is a green flag, that's a different conversation. And I think going forward, just observe your partner reactions. If
Mm.
somebody's sending them some messages, what are they doing with those messages? Are they showing them to you and are they addressing them and are they deleting them and blocking the person? Or are they actually entertaining the idea? And if they are, I would say run. Run before it becomes a big issue. Don't you think so, Christina?
Yeah, well, I think it needs to. I'll still go with the communication. I'll still go with like,
Yeah, of course.
communicate your standards. Hey, this is not okay, and for this reason, or I'm feeling a little bit, the way I'm feeling, or like just ask ask for clarity, ask for, what's the purpose of this, like understanding a little bit more of the situation, because it might not be what it appears. So often it might not be what it appears, but it could also be exactly what it appears, right? So before you cut someone off, find out the details that will support you with your decision. So you're not just taking a decision based on, um, like an emotion in the moment, but rather, you take an informative decision. And if you communicate your standards and they continue and you see the behavior displayed and they don't really care, or they even tell you, oh, I don't care, like I'm not doing anything wrong, and da 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 da, and you see clearly that they are, so they're not really owning, then that would be the time to, probably move on, unless you want to tolerate that continuously for what reason. But yeah, no, I love this, and I'm so glad that we picked this topic, because I think it's very confusing when you are in it, what's really right, what you should do, all these thoughts, and we spend so much time, thinking it over and over. So make sure that when you are in a situation like this and you feel confused and you don't know what to do, you reach out to, Olga. Olga is an infidelity, coach. She will help you, get some sort of the conversation started with your partner as well, and just for you to have some clarity within yourself, about what's the next step and how you can address it and what should you do as well. So make sure you book a time, or you contact her, and if you are feeling like in your relationship you're not showing up the way you need, or your partner is not showing up the way you need, and you need a little bit of support to get it back on track, make sure you reach out to her. She will definitely help you and give you some tools and strategies that will, close the gap and bring you back together to have that beautiful intimacy, intertwined relationship, when you both feel like your cup is it's filled, every day, not just sometimes.
Oh, thank you, Christina, for a shout out. Really appreciate it. And if you're in a situation where you just broke up or you're single for some time and you're thinking, well, I can relate to this conversation so much. I was jealous, or I felt my partner was jealous towards me. I didn't know how to handle that. And now I really want to go into a relationship, but maybe I'm afraid, maybe I'm worried, or maybe I just can't find somebody. And Christmas is approaching and looks like I'm going to be all by myself. Reach out to Christina, because she has absolutely phenomenal program that will help you to learn more about yourself, release all that negative blueprint about relationship that doesn't allow you to attract partner of your dreams. She is the one that will help you to find the one. I can guarantee that. I quite like that. She's the one to help you to find the one. But she really is. Seriously, she really is. So reach out to Christina, learn about your program. And I know that you work excessively with women, but you also work with men. So regardless of your gender, reach out to Christina, because she is absolutely amazing. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, because I have worked with Christina as well, and we uncovered so much. It was unbelievable. So reach out to Christina for sure, and we will definitely see you next time, same place. And I wonder, Christina, what do you think about this topic? Is a friendship between man and woman even possible?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Let's go for it.
I think we
I
should
love it.
discuss that. I think we should discuss that, because
I already know the
typically,
answer.
good. So we wonder, what do you think about this topic?
Let's,
Because this is what we're going to discuss next week. So tune in, same time, same place. I will see you next time. And hopefully I'll feel a little bit warmer. But today I'm absolutely cold. It's like -2 or -1 today. It's freezing.
you don't need to
So
excuse yourself. It's winter. It's winter. Like it is what it
it's
is.
horrible. Exactly,
You look
exactly. So in any
beautiful. I
case,
love your top. It's actually like
thank you.
really, really. like for a soiree, not for the morning. It looks great
Oh,
because it's evening
thank you
here in
so much.
Australia. So
Oh, that's true. That's true. But yeah, it's early morning here. But yes, thank you so much for watching us today. We're wondering, we want to hear your stories. We want to hear your opinions and your concepts about this. Let us know, and we'll see you next time with a topic about friendship